In this video, I want to talk about our urge to control circumstances, control other people. And how can we heal that? And what actually stands behind that need? Why do we feel that urge? Part of that urge comes from the time where we had our emotional needs not met, when we felt, for example, insecure, we felt some sort of danger. And that could have happened when we were kids, that could have happened when we were growing up. And when we feel helpless in certain situations, it can develop in us the mechanism that helps us survive and thrive. And that mechanism can become a controlling mechanism. And at some point, it can become an obsessive control where we want to control everything, because that control gives us an illusion, gives us a sense of safety, of security. So that's part of it. So you can spend some time reflecting on your need to feel safe, whether there was a specific point in time or situations in your life where you really lacked that feeling of safety. And now one of the mechanisms that got developed in your subconscious is the need to control, to feel safer. But my new discovery and my new reflection brought me to a slightly different point and brought me more clarity in terms of my need to control. And I noticed that need, especially in my relationship with my partner's daughter. She's only 12. I noticed that I can become quite strict and harsh bonus parent by constantly controlling her way of looking after, for example, her room. So I caught myself yelling at her at times, or talking harshly to her, asking that question: why is your room dirty? And why haven't you cleaned up your room? Why do you keep your room dirty? Why can't you keep your room clean on a daily basis? What is so hard about it? And I have to admit, I don't like myself when I become that person. I don't like that behavior in myself. It's almost like I get that bird's eye view while I do it, and I already there don't like myself. But that brought me to the point of reflection when I wanted to sit down and ask myself, Kasia, what is behind that need, your need to control? Because now I don't think it was safety. Of course, the clean and tidy surroundings, they give me that feeling of safety and security. But I knew that her room cleanliness was not about my need to feel safe. And after moments of reflection or days of reflection, I figured out that there was, in that need to control, her cleaning her room was hidden my need to be reassured that I am good enough. How did I connect those two things? Well, there was that fear of being judged. If her room is not clean, I will be judged. I will be judged that I'm not good enough. But if I make sure that her room is clean, then it soothes me and gives me that reassurance that I'm a good enough. I'm a good enough person. I'm a good enough bonus parent. I am good enough. And that good enoughness is rooted in my need to control. And the moment when I look at that behavior of mine from the perspective, Kasia, would you react similarly if you were 100% sure that you are good enough and you don't have to prove anything to anyone? Would you still react the same way? Would you still shout? Would you still reprimand? or would you just let go? And I would let go. So that good enoughness was hidden behind my need to control. Another example that proves that thesis. I wonder if you've ever felt like embarrassed by somebody else's behavior and you felt like this behavior puts the bad kind of image on me. I had that. And that was triggered especially in the moments when my partner was drinking in public. And if he drank too much, sometimes he would behave the way that I would judge as inappropriate. You would either talk too loud or shout something or be a bit rude to somebody else. And I remember that throughout the first years of our dating, such moments were a huge trigger for me. And I hated those moments. And at the same time, he was completely oblivious because he was not even aware of what he was doing. And the day after such incidents, I would have ruined my mood. I would be angry. I would be frustrated. I would be mad, and I would be accusing my boyfriend for ruining my night. And I had to reflect on that too. Because again, that was me becoming triggered was just a reflection of me not feeling good enough. And I had to realize that his behavior has got nothing to do with me. But I could only realize that on this embodied level, not only in my mind, not only in the logical thinking, but also in my body. So my emotions would not get triggered the moment when I realized that I need to work on my good enoughness. The moment when I feel good enough, not just I say I am good enough, but I feel I am good enough, I can separate myself from different circumstances and I stop labeling and judging my partner and I stop labeling and judging myself. Because before that understanding, my understanding of my good enoughness, I would first of all judge my partner. How can he drink like that? We're in public. What kind of person is he? And then I would put his behavior on me in terms of his behavior reflects me. So if he is misbehaving, that means I am misbehaving. So I didn't want to be associated with him because he's misbehaving, and and that would put the label on me that I'm not good enough. But it wasn't his behavior that was putting that label on me. It was my fundamental feeling of not good enough that was doing that to me. So that reflection and understanding and embodiment of that feeling I am good enough despite of the circumstances creates a shift that when my friends come over with a visit and they see mess in my bonus daughter's room, I don't make a story out of it about me. I don't even make a story about it about my stepdaughter. I don't make it mean anything because it actually means nothing. It just means that there is a mess that can be cleaned up when the person feels like it. She's 12. She doesn't need to feel like it. Of course, it's important to teach the basics of cleanliness, etc. But I'm sure enough she's aware of the difference. Maybe it doesn't disturb her now, and that's fine. And it doesn't definitely have to disturb me. If it's important for me to have the clean space, I'm looking after my space. And I don't have to make other people responsible for that because that's my need to have it clean and tidy. It doesn't have to be the need of somebody else. And her room is her space. I know it's still in our house, but her room is her space. I can also say, well, you've got right to choose what feels right to you. But the difference happens not only in terms of cleanliness of the room, but what do I make it mean when other people see it? So I stopped saying negative things about myself or thinking negative things about myself just because somebody's room is not clean enough. And forget even that. Sometimes it may happen that guests pop up when my house is not spot clean. Again, I have a choice. Am I going to make it mean something about me and apologize for my mess? Or am I going to just say, well, nothing, because it means nothing about me? It doesn't say what type of person I am, how good-hearted a person I am. It doesn't talk about my values at this specific moment. It's just a moment in time. And yes, I like to respect people by cleanliness, but that I do when I invite people over. I make sure that there is clean. That's for me the way of respecting my space and our space as a collective. But there is a difference when somebody pops in unexpectedly. I don't have to feel bad about myself because my house is not clean. I don't have to feel bad about myself because somebody is acting out. It doesn't make me a bad partner. It doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make me anything. There's just the person that acts the way he or she acts. And it doesn't even need to be judged. It doesn't deserve to be judged. It's our ego that likes to judge. It's our ego that likes to build that separation. Me and them. I've got nothing to do with that. Don't put me into that equation. Because that again is the way we want to control others. So if I'm going out with you, you better behave. Why? Because I want to feel that I am good enough. Well, why don't you start with yourself? And then we can go out, and then you don't pay attention to how I react and act. But can we be like completely not bothered by how somebody acts? Yes, we can. But what if they do something stupid, like start a fight? Well, again, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm not here to parent someone. I'm not here to defend someone if they are putting themselves in danger. I can separate myself from that without judgment, giving the free will to that person, because that person is mature enough or grown up enough to create their own reality. But look how much freedom it gives when we learn and embody that good enoughness. And look how much suffering it brings when we don't feel good enough. And again, we need to understand the distinction between wanting to feel good enough and really feeling that in our body. There is a huge difference. And that's where I started this video. I said, that if you ask me, I will tell you I love myself. When you ask me, I will tell you I love myself unconditionally. And yet, how can I love myself unconditionally when I had that feeling of not being good enough, which was deep in my subconscious? But when we not only understand the difference, but we start feeling the difference, that's where change happens. And it's a transformation on the deep embodied level, which affects our reactions immediately. And it affects us in the way that we're going to be less controlling, not because we try to be less controlling. We're going naturally to be less controlling because we naturally feel good enough. You see the difference? It's like trying to stop smoking and really trying and forcing yourself to stop smoking, as opposed to, well, I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker anymore because the change happened on my embodied state. So you can offer me cigarette. I'm not going to be tempted. I can be in the room with the smoke. I'm not going to be tempted because on my deep embodied level, I'm not a smoker anymore. And it's the same with our feeling good enough. If you struggle with being controlling and you would like to break free from that need, and you would like some support on that journey, support in terms of embodying your new feelings and cleansing the ones that don't serve you anymore and attending those wounds on the embodied level, I warmly invite you to my coaching sessions. And if you want to share with me with your controlling stories or you have any questions, drop me the line in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. I wish you a wonderful day. I'm Kasia Krasucka. I'm an embodiment and mindset coach for women ready for next, whether it's life, love, or career. See you soon. And remember, you are good enough. Sometimes we just need to find a space to feel it, really feel it. And our life changes and gives us much more freedom because now we don't make things mean anything about us. We take things for what they are. We can be those neutral observers. We can watch it as a film on TV. Those situations don't mean anything about us. And we can stop them mean anything about us. And that gives so much freedom and release and relief. I wish you that. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for being